All right, we're going to do our second egg now. And this one we're going to start out between centers, but we're going to prepare it for going into a four-jaw chuck. I've assessed this piece of wood, and if you look at it closely, you can see that puppy is a little squirrely. You know, this stuff is all funny, and if I were to take a spindle roughing gouge to this piece, then it would come out pretty rough. So what I'm going to do is get my step center back in here and push on him a little bit. Bring up my tail center, tail stock, and I want that guy to be just about like so. So now I'm going to bring this up, same thing. I've got good tension against my spring, just like so. I'm going to push it up so I've got good engagement on both ends. Back it off just a little bit to ease the pressure on the bearings. Lock everything down. Set up my tool rest at about the right height. And I might have to adjust that later because I don't have a square piece on here, so I really can't tell for sure. And here I go for my asymmetric grind bowl gouge. I'm going to make sure this comes on at about, oh, it'll probably stand 1,000 RPM. Nope. 900, 875. And I'm going to do a face cut the way you would on a bowl. Just so you see here, I'm hardly nicking this at all, but I'm taking a fair amount off of here. So I have to be careful. You'll also notice that I'm not going straight along parallel to the axis. I'm shaving it off at an angle. Same principle on handling the tool and I'm making the cut with my knees. I think I can probably bring it up. $1,500. And we'll bring this guy in. And we'll raise the tool stock, just the tool rest just a little bit. Of course, once it's in balance, you can go along a lot faster. Tool works like a skew in that orientation to the wood. And I'm not quite down all the way, but you can see this is going to be a pretty egg. Here I go. Pretty nice. Make it a little cleaner. And I think I want to keep this in my egg. But this is all kind of uninteresting down here. So I'm going to put a spigot on this end for my chuck. I think I'm going to do it with a skew because I can take a lighter, more directed cut. And there we go. Okay, this is a little squirrely on here, and I've also got my stem center tracks in there that I have to be sure to get rid of. So the first thing I'm going to do after I mount this up is form the large end of my egg and make sure that I'm down far enough to avoid that. So here we go. I always sort of rotate the chuck a little bit to make sure I'm up against the tops of the jaws, which I am, and snug it down. You can see it's not quite true out here. We'll take care of that right away. Here we go back to my asymmetric bowl gouge. That's pretty good. Now this is not true, but it's also going to be cut away. Okay, now what I want to do here is bring this down to a tapered cone that will fit in my live center without the pin in it. And what that will do is help me center this whole thing up when I'm pushing it into the cup chuck that you'll see in just a minute. So, I want to do some finish cutting here. Now this part I can do with a detail gouge. And this only has to be small enough to go in there. Don't make it much smaller. All right. Here we have it sanded down to 600 grit. I usually take them to 400, but you guys are special, so you get 600 out of me. And it is ready for the first coat of finish. It's looking pretty good even without that, but we'll put a little bit of Mike's walnut oil on here and see how it does. There we go. And I like to get it a little bit warm. Sometimes I'll take a block of wax and put it on there and just melt that in. That makes a nice matte finish that's got depth and glow to it. And I don't know of any other way to achieve that finish, and I don't like big shiny bright spots like this wet spot there. That'll be gone by the time the finish dries on there. So now what I am ready to do, see, that turned out nice and pretty. What I'm ready to do is part this egg off, which I will do with this parting tool right here. And you can see the curve of the grind on there is just going to follow the egg perfectly the way I want it to. Hanging on to the egg. And there you have it. There we go. I'm going to put the I can get that jaw to open up for me the way I need it to. And I wiggle it till it seats. Then I take up on it. 1, 1. All right. Still runs pretty true. Okay. Way too big a hole. We can fix that. Okay, now I have some room to work with. One of my favorite tools for this job, whew, that's ugly, is my round nose scraper. See how we do here. Okay, I can tell it's touching down on the bottom there, and that's not where you want it to grab. You want it to grab fairly close to the edge of the cup. Lower that. And this is just a steady as you go, patience kind of thing. Okay. Now, when I push in, if it creaks, that's good. If when I let go it creaks, that's bad. So what we want to do is make sure that all the chips are out of there. And push it in, I get a good creak there. So we will get those guys out of the way. And now we will bring up our tailstock. Just like so. Now, I don't want to seat it in the cup and then push it because it won't center. What I want to do is center it in the nose piece of the live center and push it in and let the cup chuck center it. And you hear that nice creak? And I'm going to crank it up a little bit. 1800, probably good. Running nice and true. See if I can get my hand out of the way. There. Make sure that you overlap your passes with the sandpaper as you get finer. In other words, you want to be sanding more area with the finer grits than you are with the coarser grits. Use the natural curves of your hand to sort of form the paper around what you're sanding. Le voila! A couple ways you can get it out of the chuck. A good heavy handle applied not to the workpiece but the chuck will often do it. Now, I pushed it in a little hard. Okay. Now, we just want to hang on to that a little bit, not a whole lot. And we're just going to sand lightly. Once I keep my thumb over the end. Now, if I were to push in on that hard enough to really hold it, I might mark it again. I don't want to do that. So it's just a light touch. And I might regret stepping away without holding it back in the chuck there. We'll see. Buff it by hand a little bit. And a little bit more oil. And there you have it. Happy Easter 2021.